Hey guys, so today we're going to be taking a look at EZA tech transforming Trunks. So this guy obviously got his EZA next to the AGL Zamasu, and I think there is a pretty big difference between this character and Zamasu in terms of just how good they are individually. I think Zamasu is clearly, not even just better, but quite a bit better than this Trunks, but that's kind of unfair because I think that Zamasu was quite a bit better than like every single unit in the game almost. Like that character is ridiculous. They definitely did justice to that AGL Zamasu. So yeah, this Trunks I don't think is going to be as good as that AGL Zamasu was, but that doesn't mean he's like terrible or anything like that. I think this guy could be pretty effective in a lot of the difficult content stages that we have in the game. But there's of course going to be a bunch of different content stages that I don't exactly think he's going to do super well in. So let's just quickly go through his kit here, and then we'll jump into a red zone stage. So he's going to be leading Future Saga 170% across the board, key +3, or Super Class 3 key 130%. Super Attack in base form is going to infinitely stack attack, and then he greatly raises defense for 3 turns and causes immense damage to enemy. Passive, attack and defense 140%. Super class allies gain key +2, which is basically the antithesis of what Zamasu is doing with the extreme class key +2. I'm actually really glad they gave these characters that, just a little bit of extra help for the rotation. Then he launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack, and then chance of performing a critical hit +30% within the same turn with each attack performed. So if he attacks 3 times in the turn, he's going to have a 90% chance to crit. And then he transforms when conditions are met, which is the same as the AGL Zamasu, which means that the next attacking turn that this character is on, he will automatically transform into Super Saiyan Trunks. Links, we have Saiyan Warrior Race, Saiyan Lineage, Royal Lineage, Messenger from the Future, Dismal Future, Prepare for Battle, and Fierce Battle. And this guy is on a lot of different categories. Future Saga, Hybrid Saiyan, Time Travel, View to Family, Transformation Boost, Super Saiyan, Bond of Master Disciple, Revenge, Battle of Wits, Miraculous Awakening, Entrusted Will, Battle of Fate, Bond of Parent and Child, Earthbred Fighters, Superheroes, and Power of Wishes. Alright, so on the next attacking turn, he is going to go ahead and transform into Super Saiyan Trunks Future from the 3rd turn from the start of the battle, which is very easy to do. And his super attack becomes greatly raise attack and defense and causes immense damage to enemy. That is a 50% raise infinitely. So that is a very, very strong super attack effect there. Then his passive is attack and defense 150%. Super class allies still get key +2. Then this guy gets key +1 up to 4, plus an additional attack and defense +25% up to 100% at the start of each turn. So he's getting stronger and stronger as each turn passes. Then he launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack. I really, really hate this mechanic. I wish they would really stop giving this to characters. Giving characters a 70% chance to additional super, I just don't understand the thought process behind not making that guaranteed. If they are comfortable giving characters a 70% chance to super attack, why would it be that much different if you just made it guaranteed? Because it just feels bad to miss that, like as often as I seem to miss it. So I wish they would stop doing this. Launches another additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack starting from the 4th turn from start of turn. So that is a little bit misleading. I mean, 4th turn from start of turn means this Trunks transforms into Super Saiyan Trunks, and then starting from that point, 4 turns from that point, is when he will receive this additional. So it's going to be 2 rotations after. No, not even 2 rotations. It's going to be 2 appearances of this character after the initial appearance is when he's going to get that extra additional. So it definitely will take quite a while. And then he gets a chance of performing a critical hit +30% within the same turn with each attack form. So that's the same thing as the base form. Then his active skill becomes Miraculous Power. Can be activated upon entering next attacking turn once only. The same exact condition as AGL Zamasu. Links that changes a little bit. He grabs Super Saiyan and Golden Warrior in exchange for Saiyan Warrior Race and Saiyan Lineage. So let's just assume you decide to transform into the Sword of Hope variant of this character. His super attack effect becomes massively raised attack for 1 turn, immense damage, and massively lowers defense. Again, the same exact super attack effect as the final form of AGL Zamasu. Then his passive becomes attack +40% and defense +20% per key sphere obtained. Performs a critical hit just at all times, so he's just doing guaranteed crits. That's pretty strong. Then he gets an additional attack +50% when performing a super attack. And super class allies gain key +3 with 4 or more key spheres obtained. So the additional attack on super attack is conditional as well upon those key spheres. And then he randomly changes key series of a certain type, excluding TEQ, to TEQ key series, because obviously they want you to collect the key series with the TEQ key series with this unit. So, in terms of my build for this character, I went mostly additional because this is a stacking unit, and I think it's just going to make the most sense to leverage his ability to stack, especially as Super Saiyan, greatly stacking attack and defense. That's something you definitely want to try and make the most of. And then instead of giving him crit, because this character really doesn't need any crit, I went down dodge, because this character does not get hurt by dodging attacks. He doesn't get built up by eating hits. He's not like gaining anything from taking hits. So I think giving characters like this dodge as well, as long as you have a decent amount of additional already on the unit, I think is probably what you want to be doing here. So this is what I have: 20 additional, 5 crit, and 10 dodge. I also gave him a decent amount of defense equipped, so his total defensive stat at this point is 15.4k, which is pretty damn high for a non-LR character. So we are going to go ahead and jump into the Cell Red Zone stage. We are going to be running the LR AGL Vegito Blue team, and I will have this Trunks next to Vegeta and Trunks because they share 5 links once Trunks transforms into Super Saiyan. We are also going to be running into Mai, who was also newly EZA'd, the same EZA event as this Trunks. And they actually did something pretty nice with this EZA too, is as long as you got the medals that you need to EZA the Trunks and Zamasu, they actually provide you with the additional medals via missions to awaken the side EZAs. So to awaken this Int Mai, and then to awaken the physical Guasu and Zamasu. So you don't have to like jump back in and do any additional attempts at the EZA to get those extra medals. So it's pretty good. Okay, I mean, other than that, let's just go ahead and jump in here. I will unmute the game once we get in. And let's go ahead and unauto as well. 727,000 HP. And of course, we are in slot 7. Because I at least want to see what Trunks is going to do as base form, because it's part of the showcase. I will actually reset this, because if Trunks is in slot 7, he will instantly transform into Super Saiyan on turn 3 when he first appears. So I'm actually going to go ahead and reset this. I know it's very annoying. It's just I am somebody who has been in favor a lot. This going back like 5 years ago, I was in favor of this, of being allowed to choose our opening rotations. I think it's time for them to let us do that. I don't care if people think it's going to make it, dumbed down or easier. Like, it's just stuff like this is annoying, especially when we have stages that are limited in terms of a number of attempts you can do. I can do this stage three times today. So if we jump in 3 times and Trunks is in slot 7 every time, guess what? That's just what it's going to have to be. Like, I have no control over it. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back in. Hopefully he's not in slot 7. All right, well, he's in slot 2, which I guess is better, but these rotations are horrific. Whatever, let's go. I might have the skip on. I don't really care. You guys have seen all these animations a million times, so let's leave the skip on here. I'm going to float Vegeta and Trunks, because I want to have them next to Trunks in the rotation. Let's just do this. I want to make sure we're getting stacks in with all these units. Yeah, this should drop the green orbs. Damn, we're 1 key short there. All right, whatever. So both the Vegetos will be able to stack up here. I actually intentionally brought the AGL Gohan. So Gohan is on Battle of Fate, so he's on the 170 lead of Vegeto's team, but he's not on the 200% lead. But I intentionally brought that Gohan because I didn't want to do damage a lot. Like, I wanted to go as slowly as possible through this, and that's why I brought a character like AGL Gohan instead of like the 5th year LRs, the 5th year Blue Fusions. Like, I could have brought 1 or 2 of them and gone through the event with them on the team, but they would have just blitzed through this so fast. And again, this Trunks is a character that really wants to have a prolonged fight, because that's just how his kit works. And with that in mind, while this Trunks is definitely not as good as the AGL Zamasu, who we EZA'd at the same time as, I do think he can still be pretty effective in like longer events. So like the Sin Shenron Dragon, Shadow Dragon event, the Omega Shenron Shadow Dragon event. I think he can be pretty effective in like the Broly stage, the Broly Red Zone stage, honestly, because that fight could go on a decently long period of time. Against Omega Red Zone, he could be pretty good. I mean, those fights are older now, but I think he can still be pretty decent in there. Fights where I think he could get a little bit strung up on are like Metal Cooler Core. Definitely is not a good fight for him. because the enemy starts as int, right? And then once you get into the metal cooler core on turn 4, like this Trunks is not going to have had enough time to build up to where he'll be able to really do much against the metal cooler core. He'll just die in one hit. Okay, so we're starting. This is not terribly good rotations for him. We only have Dismal Future and Fierce Battle here. He's at 224,000 defense, which, of course, if you guys know how this game works, it's not exactly the greatest number of all time. But he does transform right away on the next appearance, so that should be pretty good. I guess we will give Bulma support here, and let's just see what Trunks is looking like with the support. So 252. He can super up to 3 times this turn, and then each time he supers, he gets an additional chance to crit. Alright, so Bulma's gonna eat that, it's fine. So yeah, Metal Cooler Core, I don't think this guy's gonna be particularly great in. I actually don't think he would be that good against Cell Max either. Like, not even the Cell Max, like real Cell Max event, but even the Red Zone version of Cell Max, I don't think he'd be that good in there. That Cell Max doesn't hit super hard, but like this Trunks' turn 1 and turn 3 defensive numbers are just like really to the level where even against the boss like that, I don't think he would particularly perform that well. And then, I mean, you talk about fights like, oh, he actually triple super for us, okay. So that's 3 stacks of attack, and it's 3 great defensive raises, but those defensive raises are only active for 3 turns, so. What was I gonna say? Yeah, and so then on top of those fights, like, you look at the Dismal Future Red Zone event that just came out, and I think it's a no-brainer that I don't think this Trunks would do particularly well against First Form Cell or Goku Black. It's just a hunch that I have, right? I mean, this Trunks is really, really not designed for those like really fast short fights, especially like Goku Black. Dude, you take this Trunks into the Goku Black Red Zone fight. Turn 1, he's taking like 300k from a normal attack. Like, it's just not going to work out well for him. So, again, this guy is definitely suited for longer content. And I don't think that's particularly a bad thing, because having characters that are suited for short content and then having other characters that are suited for long content, I think is fine, right? I mean, sure, you're going to get the occasional super mega powerful unit that's good against everything, like Bulma. Or like the 8th anniversary GT character, or Orange Piccolo, like those super mega amazingly powerful units. But most of the game are specifically, characters that are tailored towards a certain style of content, long or short, or type advantage, or the boss disable dodges, or they don't disable dodges, and they debuff. Like, there's a lot of factors at this point in Dokkan's lifespan to consider when you're building a team to take on an event. Which I think is good, because it means you don't have one team that you just set up for every single fight in the game and then you just steamroll everything, right? I mean, you can do that with like certain teams that have like the ridiculous units on them, but most of the time I think you're probably going to get through the game with different characters performing better than others in certain events. All right, well, we almost killed this guy here. I mean, this is actually not going to be great, because Trunks is not going to be able to get a lot of stacks. Remember, Trunks can triple super once he's Super Saiyan, which he will be going here in a second. So here we go. All right, so there's Super Saiyan Trunks. Now remember, he has to come back onto rotation 2 more times to get the additional. So at that point, he'll be able to super 4 times. But he only has a great chance to additional from his passive right now. So I guess, what is it? In 4 turns from now, he will have the great chance to super, and then the high chance to super, and then the hidden potential system as well. Okay, so just because I want to get this Trunks stacked as much as possible, I'm actually going to put him in slot 1. So with Vegeta and Trunks, he has Super Saiyan, Royal Lineage, Dismal Future, Prepare for Battle, and Fierce Battle, so most of his link set is active here. And so this first turn, he's sitting at 558,000 defense, but that's a bit deceptive, because we triple supered in base form, which means that he's actually going to lose 3 great defensive stacks on this next appearance. So I think it is completely feasible, even if this guy's like double supers this turn, that he could potentially have like the same exact defensive number next turn, or even maybe a lower number depending on how many times he supers. So let's see how we do here. So we'll start with this. I want to try and make sure we get Bulma support. Okay, so we can just save those for Bulma. Perfect. So his defense is going to eclipse 600k, or maybe just be right around 600k when we click this from Bulma. We won't be able to see it. He should be looking pretty good offensively. Remember, he's stacking crit. 5.6 is okay, considering he can do 3 of these, and they're like, you know, have a high chance to crit most of the time. That didn't crit. Okay, he got us the additional, so this has a 60% chance to crit now. He can do one more. I mean, this, remember, my Trunks is 20 additional. Okay, no crit. And he did give us 3. Okay, that's really, really good. This now has a 90% chance to crit, so this is probably going to crit. Yeah, there we go. All right, so we took out Cell. Honestly, would have preferred if he didn't crit on that one, so that Vegeta and Trunks could get a stack, but it doesn't really matter. All right, we're at AGL Cell here. So at this point, the blue Goku and Vegeta no longer have their intro buff active, right? 400k defense. I am going to do this, I think. Do I? Well, no. I would like to do as little damage as possible. The funny thing about this is, like, Cell's supers in the front, and if they don't dodge, like, they're taking significant damage. Like, 400k defense is not good. I mean, they're going to get more defense for being in slot 1, so it's not actually 400k, but... all right, let's just do it. Let's just give them the... It doesn't really matter what we do. Let's do this. And then we'll do that. Okay, so next turn, we'll see what Trunks' defense looks like, I guess. Okay, just dodge, please. Okay. Cool. Well, at least we can transform with a friend. Right. Sure. Remember, we still had Bulma support active on this turn. Plus, we had Int Mai support, which is Int Mai is giving 50% support. So we had what? We had 87% support on this rotation. They were in slot 1. They have stacked every single turn defensively that they've been on rotation. They took 360 from this AGL Cell. Yeah. Worldwide Download Celebration 2023 LR. Okay. All right, Mai should be good. She has high chance, or a great chance to dodge. Oh, she's stunned. That's fine. That doesn't matter. Okay. So yeah, we can do that. We can actually do everything. So Trunks is at 608. Yeah, you guys notice that. I mean, his defense went up a little bit, but you have to understand we triple greatly stacked attack and defense last turn because we triple super. But his defense last turn was only 550-ish, right? So it really didn't go up that much. And the reason why is because the base form only gave a 3-turn great defensive raise. So those stacks have now worn off for this Trunks. That to me is probably the biggest problem with this character, is the fact that he doesn't maintain the stacks that he does in base form throughout the rest of the fight permanently. And they go away in 3 turns. I'm not really too sure as to why they decided to do that. Like, if you take a look at the AGL Zamasu, him in base, like, yeah, he's not additionaling and everything that this Trunks is doing, but that base form AGL Zamasu's attack, super attack effect in the first form, it is a permanent defensive stack. So I'm just really, I don't know. I don't particularly understand why they did this. I think it would have been at least much better if they made it 6 turns, right? Because if they had made those defensive stacks 6 turns instead of 3 turns, then this Trunks could have maintained those defensive stacks until he got to the turn where he could quad super. I think that really would have made a massive difference. So that's the one thing that I'm looking at right now that really makes me question, like, why did they do this? 600k is not horrible, but it's, you know, turn 6, like around turn 6 is when you would expect to start wrapping up a lot of these major, like, really tough boss fights. And yeah, that defensive number, remember, he doesn't have guard, doesn't have dodge, he doesn't have damage reduction, he doesn't have a scouter. Like, he's not doing a lot of these broken defensive things that a lot of other units have that have defensive numbers like this. So he's just sitting with 600k defense, and it's just, yeah, normals he should be fine against, but, you know, that's pretty much the extent of what he can do defensively. Okay, I'm gonna put him in slot 1 just to again see if we can get as many stacks as possible. The boss is stunned, so we don't have to worry about it. We should see a decent jump in his attack as well, because remember, he is getting 25% attack and defense per turn elapsed as well. So that does stack up. I guess I might as well just do this. All right, Trunks, what do you got for us here? 6.4. Next turn, we should see a pretty significant jump, I would say. Normal. Super. Okay, so 2. I'll take 2 out of 3. I'm okay with that. All right, so this is the maximum amount of supers he could do on this turn for now. The next time he shows up, he will be able to give us that 4th attack. But it's like... by the time you get to, like, what is it? It's going to be turn 9 or 8? It's going to be turn 8. By the time you get to turn 8 most of the time, I feel like you're just going to, like, want to finish the fight at that point. And so what that means is you're most likely just going to transform, or want to transform, into Sword of Hope, right? Alright, well... let's see. We're going to finish him here, right? Yeah. Alright, so I'm up against Buff Cell. I guess what we want to kill him here. We're not going to be able to get Bulma next to Trunks for, like, the mega orb changing thing. So something you could do with Bulma on the team with Trunks is you can... let me just see something here. So Trunks... let's make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Yeah, so basically what will happen if you have Bulma on rotation with Trunks, with the active skill available for Bulma, is Bulma can change the entire field, and then of course Trunks gets 40% attack and 20% defense per orb. So you can use Trunks to collect every single orb on the field, and then basically just use him as like a nuke. So he'd get up to like, what, like 40, 50 million with guaranteed crit with that setup, which is pretty strong, but I think that situation is a little bit more specific than most people are giving it credit for. Because I remember when the EZA details dropped for this character, and I saw some people mentioning like, oh my god, like you could pair him up with Bulma and like this ridiculous turn, and it's like, you can, but number one, like it's a little bit specific, and then number two, like Bulma, the turn when Bulma uses her active skill, like when are you losing anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like Bulma's active skill is probably the single most overpowered like mechanic in the game. If you take a look at everything she's doing with her active skill, like I think Orange Piccolo is ridiculous. He's nullifying all the boss mechanics, and he's basically doing like half the boss's HP by himself in a lot of instances. But I actually think this is the single most broken mechanic in the game. She's full healing you. She's making everyone on the team do super effective damage for the turn. She's basically unkillable herself for the turn. She's doing a lot of damage herself, and like you can't die on that turn pretty much. Like it's just you use this active skill, and the turn where you use this active skill, you're immortal, and the enemy can't do, and the enemy's dead. Like you this is as close as it comes to an I win button. So yeah, it's cool that you can use Bulma's active skill next to Trunks and have him, you know, essentially nuke the boss, but that's not much different than what is normally happening when you use Bulma's active skill anyway. Okay, let's just do... I'm actually... what do I want to do here? Okay, let's just do this. Let's just kill this cell here. Let's just get him out of here. Like, yeah, Trunks can grab all these orbs. At least, what, is 23 orbs? Yeah. Or we can just do this on any other turn, right? Like, okay, congratulations, now we're invincible. So, that's cool. Alright, so Vegeta's gonna take this guy out, and then we will have Super Saiyan Trunks' full power next turn. But even against a fight like Cell in the red zone, which is, again, certainly one of the longer fights that exists in the game right now, the only like longer fight than this, and like so I basically lump this Cell fight, the Frieza fight, and the Shadow Dragon fight pretty much all in the same bucket in terms of how long they are. Technically, I guess the Shadow Dragon stage might be a little bit longer than this, but the only fight that really eclipses these in terms of length is like the Omega event, which isn't even available yet for Global. I think Trunks could be pretty good in there, right? Because that fight typically goes on for like 10, 11 turns, so Trunks can look pretty good in there, but typically by the time you get to turn 8, which is what we're on right now, like the fight is over on this turn. So yes, it's nice that Trunks now has his full passive as Super Saiyan Trunks, but you know, most of the time I feel like you're probably just going to want to end the fight by going into the Sword of Hope form here. All right, so Trunks is up to 1.17 million defense, which, of course, do I even have to say that that's good? Obviously, it's good. We have my support and we have Bulma support still active, so Trunks is now under 87% attack and defensive support. We're going to go ahead and pop the Father-Son Gallican as well, just so we can see what Trunks' defensive number goes up to before we transform into the Sword of Hope version here. Remember, this Gallican gives defense to the whole rotation, which is basically like a B-pan effect defensively. So with that activated, Trunks jumps up to 1.4 million defense. I mean, nobody, I don't think anybody is looking at this turn and saying like, yeah, Trunks sucks. He's only at 1.4 million defense on turn 8. Because, again, I think turn 8, like, you can definitely get to turn 8 on some difficult stages, or in some difficult stages. But I don't think the earlier portions of this character, in terms of him like on the journey to be fully built up, is where he needs to be to get here. Because I feel like a lot of times, like, you're just gonna die before you get to this part, and like I don't even know if you want to stay in this form, right, for Trunks. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do here is we're gonna put Trunks in slot 1, and I will transform into the Sword of Hope version with this Trunks. Now remember, this Trunks is changing a random type of key sphere to TEQ, right? Let me just go to the Sword of Hope version here. Randomly changes keys for a certain type of TEQ. Yeah, TEQ excluded. Ideally, I guess he changes the STR key spheres to TEQ. I guess. Let's go ahead and see how this works. I'm going to put the animations on for this. But yeah, I mean, again, it's just unfortunate that Trunks now finally has his full passive as Super Saiyan Trunks, but it's like, it's actually worthless because we're just going to transform anyway. All right, yeah, not exactly a fantastic orb changing job there by Trunks. So we're only able to get 5 orbs, but I mean, this is what the character is, right? You get lucky with orb changing, he can look a lot better than what he's about to look like here. But all right, so with the Father-Son Gallican activated, with my support, with Bulma support, I would say this is a pretty insanely juiced up rotation for this Trunks. He's at 637,000 defense before we collect the orbs. Remember, he is getting 40% attack and 20% defense per orb collected. So this is 5 orbs. So this is going to be an extra, what is that? 200% attack and 100% defense. All right, let's go ahead and click this. He's giving key to the rotation as well because he collected the right amount of orbs. So it's a 978,000 defense, and he is not getting defense from any part of his passive or his super tech effect. Like after this, this is the extent of what his defense looks like. So, you know, I'm not going to say this is a bad number defensively, but when you're going up against, you know, red zone, I don't even know, red zone metal, like the metal cooler core would actually still do like 400-500k to this Trunks right now, I think. So he's not horrible, obviously, but we're on turn 8, and now we're finally getting to this part. I don't know. All right, let's just see what happens here. Trunks can give me an additional because he does have 20 additional, and they're both going to be crits, but it doesn't give him extra defense or anything like that. All right, 15 million guaranteed crit. Come on, give me one more. One more. That's a normal. 7 million normal, though. Guaranteed crit, I'll take that. All right, hopefully sell supers. No? He didn't super, okay. He might super Mai, who has a 70% chance to dodge. But I mean, that's pretty much how Trunks is. Again, he's definitely good. I think he can work effectively in a lot of the longer stages of the game, which is fine. It's just how he's built. But when you compare him to like the AGL Zamasu that came out next to this guy with the EZA, like it almost feels like they're a year apart in terms of when they released. It really does. Which I'm not opposed to because I think the villains definitely needed the help a little bit more than like the Superclass team does. But well, I guess we can go ahead and end things off with Vegito. I'm going to do this Vegito's active, I guess. And then I think we can finish him off with the friend. Let's see the animation on the first one, and then I think I'll skip the second one, and we can potentially get the win screen there. But let me know what you guys think of EZA TEQ Trunks. Again, I think he's good, but I don't think he's anything like, oh my god, he's ridiculous. That's what Zamasu is. Zamasu is, oh my god, he's ridiculous. This Trunks is not on that level, but I think he can be effective on a lot of tough stages, which is fine. That's pretty much what we've become accustomed to for EZA characters. So, hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you all in the next one.
どうした俺のスピードにはついてこられないか